Good morning, everybody. I am Anusha, working as Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department in the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I am discussing the subject programming with objects in my videos. In the previous class, we had discussed about event handling and what are event sources and listeners. In today's video, we will be discussing about the Swing components, its containers, and few of its containers. So let's look into the container class of the swings. The swings, as we have discussed, they are classified into containers as well as components. So any class which has other components in it is called as the container class. For building GUI applications, at least one container class is necessary. So the container class forms the base to place all the other component classes. So we have high level container classes and low level component classes. The high level container classes are Jframe, JDialog, JWindow, and JApplet. The Jframe is a fully functioning window with icons and titles. It is the top level window with a title bar and a border. The size of the frame includes any area designated for the border. The JDialog window is another component is the JDialog window, which is an independent component, independent sub window meant to carry temporary notice apart from the main Swing application window. Like if we have any error messages to be displayed, we make use of this JDialog window. The most dialogues present an error message or a warning to the user. The JApplet is a special kind of Java program that a browser enabled with Java technology can download from the internet and run. An applet is typically embedded inside a web page and runs in the context of a web browser. So JApplet is it comes from the applets of AWT, and this is mainly used for developing applets. Now nowadays applets are no more in use, so Java has it completely removed it from their repository. Then the JWindow container is that container that can be displayed anywhere on the user's desktop. It does not have a title bar, window management buttons, or other trimming associated with a Jframe. One of the most mainly used container class is the Jframe. This Jframe class, it is extending the frame class of the AWT. So the general form of the Jframe is public class Jframe extends frame. This frame is of the AWT, the abstract toolkit. It implements the interfaces, window constants, accessible, and root pane container. So this frame is it is a top level window which is which has a title and a border. So we have the frame like this. It will have the title bar here with some title, and you will have the close, minimize, and maximize buttons for that frame. So it is the window that has decoration such as border, a title. It supports button components that can close or iconify the window, and it is the base window on which other components can be placed, such as the menu bar, panels, etc. So on this Jframe, we will place these buttons, scroll bars, and all these smaller components can be placed over this container class of Jframe. The interface window constants is used to define constants that is used to control the window closing operation. So when we press on the close button of the window, what it has to do, that is defined by this interface window constants. So there are 4 constants: dispose on close, do nothing on close, exit on close, and hide on close. So dispose on close constant, it will dispose the window when that window close button is pressed. The do nothing on close, it does nothing. I mean, that window may remain as such even if we press the window close button. Exit on close will exit that application when we press the close button. I mean the close when we have the close button in the title bar, right? So when that close button is pressed, what happens? That is defined by these window constants. And hide on close, it will hide the window on clicking that cross button. Another interface implemented by Jframe is the root pane container. This is the interface which is implemented by components that have single J root pane child. Like these interface is implemented by JDialog, Jframe, JWindow, and JApplet. This J root pane is a lightweight container whose purpose is to manage the other panes. This root pane acts as a base for the menu bar and the content pane. The pane that comprise the root pane are called as the glass pane, the content pane, and the layered pane. The JFrame object has a root pane in its middle. All the contents are placed on this content pane, and the glass pane covers the entire visible area of the root pane. Next interface which is implemented by Jframe is the accessible interface, which is the main interface for accessibility package, and all the components that support accessibility package must implement this interface. Now let's look into an example of a simple swing application which make use of the Jframe. So here we are defining in our main, we have the class swing demo, and in our main class we are creating an object of a frame Jframe, and who is named as swing demo. So this swing demo will form the name of that frame. So we have this swing demo placed over the title bar. Then we are setting the size of that frame to be 400 by 500. So with the width is 400 and the height is 500. So here we are not specifying any layout because we don't have any components as such to be placed on this. So we are setting the layout to be null. Then set visibility is set to visibility is set to true using set visible method. So once we execute the program to make this window visible, the frame visible, we set the set visible to true, and the set default close operation is used to close when we click on the cross button. So when we click on this, what operation has to be done is defined by set default close operation, and here it is defined to exit on close. So when we close this window, the application exits. So once we execute this program, we get this output. This is the output which we receive. So we have the title given as swing demo, which is created at the time of object, and we have defined some size, what operation has to be done once it is closed. So this is a basic swing application of Jframe. Next is the JApplet class. So this class is that it enables the applets to be used on swing components. This JApplet class extends the applet class of the AWT. Its general form is public class JApplet, extends applet, implements accessible and root container. So here this JApplet class is extending the applet class from the AWT. Now an applet is a special kind of a Java program that a browser enabled with Java technology can download from the internet and run. An applet is typically embedded inside the web page, and it runs on the context on the browser. The applet API is deprecated and it has no replacement. The Oracle announced in January 2016 that applets would be deprecated in Java 9, and the technology was removed from Java 11. Next is the JDialog box. This window is mainly used to display any error message or warning. So the general form is public class JDialog, extends dialog, implements window constants, accessible, root pane container. The main class for creating this is the main class which is used for creating a dialog window. We can use this class to create a custom dialog or invoke the many class methods in JOption pane to create variety of standard dialogs. A dialog window is an independent sub-window meant to carry temporary notices, and most dialogs present an error message or warning to a user, but dialogs can present images, directories, etc. Every dialog is dependent on a frame component. So when a frame is destroyed, when we close it, the dialog boxes are also closed. When the frame is iconified, its dependent dialogs also disappear from the screen. When the a frame is de-iconified, the dependent dialogs return onto the screen. Iconified means we are minimizing it, and de-iconify means we are maximizing it. So when we maximize or minimize a frame, accordingly the dialog box related to that frame also will disappear and appear depending on the operation. The swing JDialog class inherits the behavior from the AWT dialog class. Next, let's look into some of the components of swings. One mainly used, one of the component is JPanel, which is its general form is public class JPanel extends JComponent implements accessible. So the JPanel is a generic lightweight container. They are opaque by default. The panels can add colors to their background. You can easily add borders to them and otherwise customize their paintings. Now, if you want to set the layout manager of this panel, we can use these panel can use the layout manager to position and size its component. By default, the layout manager is flow layout, which places the components on the panel in a row. If you want to make use of any other layout manager, then we have to invoke the set layout method by specifying the layout manager when creating the panel. The panel's transparency can be changed by invoking the set opaque method. The transparent panel draws no background so that any components under it can be seen through. And if we want to add components onto the panel, we make use of the add method. And these are the constructors which are used to create panels. The JPanel with empty constructor, it creates a new JPanel with a double buffer and a flow layout. JPanel boolean is double buffered, creates a panel with flow layout and the specified buffering strategy. JPanel layout manager will create a buffered JPanel with the specified layout manager, and layout manager with boolean is JPanel with layout manager and double buffered creates a panel with the specified layout manager and the buffering strategy. Now these it's a small example for implementing the panel. So here the gray colored portion, this gray colored portion is our panel which is placed over a frame. So first we have our class, the panel example, and in its constructor we are creating a frame which with name panel example. So we get this panel example name written over the JPanel. Then we are creating a panel. Its bounds is set to 50-50, so it will start 50 points from the frame, and the x and y coordinates of this panel starts at 50-50, and it is of width 200 and height is 150. So this is 200, this area is 200, and this is 150. And we are setting the background color of the panel to gray. Now, once this panel is set, we have to add that component into the container frame. So to keep that panel on the JFrame, we call the add method of panel. So this means that this panel, the panel which we are created is added onto the frame F. Our frame is named F. So onto that frame, we are adding this panel with these features. Then we are setting the size of frame to 300. So this size will be, the size of this frame will be of 300 by 300. And we are not making use of any layout. So the layout is set to null and the visibility is set to true. Then in the main method, we are invoking that class. we are creating the object. So once this is executed, we get the frame. On this frame, we have placed the panel, which is gray in color. Next is the JButton class. So if we want to add any push buttons onto the frame, we make use of this JButton class. This JButton can be, you can use this JButton class to add text to it or add images to the button. So anything can be done using this JButton class. So this JButton class, if we want to operate like a push button, when we press that button, some operation can be done. So in order to apply such logic, we make use of this JButton. So its general form is public class JButton extends abstract button implements accessible. So this is an implementation of the push buttons. These buttons can be configured to some degree controlled by action. So that means for these buttons, we can provide some actions. Like when we press the button, you can have a text to be displayed or you can have some other operation to be performed. We can define all those things over a button. To create a button, we can instantiate many of the classes that descend from the abstract button. The swing button generally is used to display text or an image. When the button is disabled, the look and feel automatically generates the button's disabled appearance. The button class is used to create a labeled button that has platform independent implementation. The application may result in some action when the button is pushed. So these are the constructors which we can use to create the button. The JButton class, empty one without any text. It doesn't place any text on the button icon. If we want to specify any name for that button, then we make use of this constructor, wherein we specify the whatever text is specified here, the button will be created with that particular string. So it creates a button with the particular text specified by this. Then if we want to create, we make use of the third constructor if we want to create a button with a text and an icon. So that text and icon is passed as parameters to that constructor. And if we want to perform some action, then we make use of this fourth constructor, where it creates a button where the properties are taken from the action specified. And if we want to create a button with only an icon, then we make use of the fifth constructor. Now, this is an example of making use of a button class. So here in this case, what happens is that we have created a button with the message, with the name click here. So when we click on this button, some message will be displayed. So when we click on this button, the message welcome to JButton will be displayed on the text field. So this is our button and this is the text field. So here first so these buttons and the text field will be placed on the frame. So first we have to create the frame. So that frame is created with the title button example. Then to place the text message, we make use of the text field, and its size is set to, it is starting from from 50 xy coordinates are 50 50, and it's the text field bounced. The text field starts from the point x-axis and y-axis as 50 50, and its length and width, the length and width is set to 150 and 10. Then then we are creating a button with the message click here. So on that button we get this click here message. So because we have passed that string will be named on the button, and that is also starting at x coordinate and y coordinate 50 and 100, and the width of the button is 95 by 30. And on this frame, when we close that frame, we are defining it to exit on close. Now when So what our logic is that when we press the button, some action has to occur. So on this button B, our button object is B. So on that button, we have to add some action listener. So button is our source of event. So when so we should have a listener which is registering on to the source B, to the source button. So for that we make use of this part. So we are defining an action listener which is listening to an event. So whenever that event happens, that means whenever we press that button, the text message has to be displayed on the text field. So when that pressing, so the action event that occurs there is the pressing of the button. So when that button is pressed, it has to display the text message welcome to J button on the text field. So when it has to display the text message, to display that text message on the text field, we are setting the text field objects text area, the text part to this particular string. So that means whenever we press that button, the pressing button event occurs. So when that event has occurred, the text field data has to be set to welcome to J button string. So TF is our text field. TF is our text field, and this text field's text is set to welcome to J button. That is why we get this message over here. So when this button was clicked, this message will be displayed on the J button. On the text field. So that's how we define an action for that particular button. And here, now once these text field and buttons are created, that has to be added onto the frame. So for that, we are calling f.add. So we are keeping the button onto the frame and also the text field onto this frame. Then we are setting the size of the frame to be 400 by 400, and we are not using any particular layout, and the visibility is set to true so that we can see the window, the frame. So this is the basic example of adding an action listener to the button and what action will be performed when we click on the button. Next is the JLabel field. So this JLabel class, it extends the J component and implements the swing constants and accessible interface. It is a display area for a short text string or an image or both. The label does not react to any input events, and as a result, it cannot get any keyboard focus. You can specify where in the label's display area the label contents are aligned by setting the vertical and horizontal alignment. By default, the labels are vertically centered in their display area. The text-only labels are leading edge aligned by default. The image-only labels are horizontally centered by default. The labels leading and trailing edge are determined from the value of the component orientation property. The set icon text gap method is used to specify how many pixels should appear between the text and the image. The default pixel is 4 pixels. Now these are the various constructors used for JLabel. The empty constructors, JLabel, which it will create an instance with no image and an empty string for the title. The JLabel string as parameter will create a JLabel instance with the specified text. The JLabel string and some integer to represent the alignment. This third constructor will create a JLabel instance with the specified text and the horizontal alignment. The JLabel string text icon and integer for alignment creates a label instance with the specified text, image and horizontal alignment. The JLabel icon image creates a label with the specified image, and the JLabel constructor with the image and integer property will create an instance with the specified image and horizontal alignment. Now these are the few methods of JLabel which we make use of. GetText returns the text string that the labels display. SetText with parameter text, string parameter, it defines the single line of text. Whatever text is specified here, the value will be set to that. Then set horizontal alignment with integer parameter sets the alignment of the label's contents along the x-axis. The get icon method returns a graphic image that the labels display, and the get horizontal alignment returns the alignment of the label's contents along the x-axis. The next class which we make use of is the text field. So the text field general form is public class text. JText field extends JText component, implements swing constants. The JText field is a lightweight component that allows the editing of a single line of text. When the user indicates that text entry is complete by pressing the enter key, the text field fires an action event. If you need to obtain more than one line of input from the user, we need to use text area. The Swing components, Swing API provides several classes for components that are either varieties of text field that includes the text field. So these are the different types of text fields which is supported by Swings. The JText field, the J formatted text field, the J password field, the J compose box, and the J spinner. So these are some of the APIs which is used by the JText field in Swing. And these are the constructors of the JText field, which the empty constructor, it just creates a text field. The J field in columns, it creates an empty text field with the specified number of columns. The JText field string text creates a text field initialized with the specified text. The JText field string text into columns, it constructs a text field with the specified number of columns and the text displayed on that. JText field doc, string text and in columns construct a new text field that uses the text storage stored in that document text storage model and with the given number of columns. These are the various various methods used inside text field. The add action listener, which is used to add the specified action listener to receive action events from this text field. The get action method, it returns a currently set action for this action event source or null if no action is set. Then set font to set the current text font. Remove action listener, it is used to remove the specified action listener so that it no longer receives action events from the text field. Next is the JText area. This text area is a multi-line area that displays a plain text. It is intended to be a lightweight component that provides source compatibility with Java's AWT text area class, where it can reasonably do so, and it inherits the JText component class. Now these are the various constructors of the text area. The JText area, it constructs a new text area with empty field. The JText area int rows columns, it constructs an empty text area with the number of specified rows and columns. The JText area with string constructs a text area with the specified text. The constructor with text rows and columns, which will specify the text area with that specified text with this number of rows and columns. The text area document constructs a text area with the given document model, and default for all the other arguments is null 0 0. And the JText document string text rows and columns construct a text area with the specified number of rows and columns and the given model. These are the methods which is used of the JText area. To set rows specified by an integer parameter, it is used to set the specified number of rows. void set columns with column with again another with again a integer parameter is specified. It creates the specified number of columns. The set font method is used to specify the it will set the font of the text area to that specified font. So the insert method is used to insert the specific text on the specified position. The append string s is used to append the given text to the end of the document. So that is all for today's video. In preparing this slide, I had made use of Java Complete Reference by Herbert Shield and Java T-Point website and Samantha's website and Java tutorial website. So these were the references which I had used to prepare the slides for today. And in today's topics, we had discussed about the various swing components and various swing components. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching my video.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.